MMAWeekly.com here with Dave Loiseau in Las Vegas. How you doing, Dave?
Very good. How are you?
Good. Been a while?
Been a while, man. I've been here in ages.
So what have you been up to?
Training, fighting, acting, doing all kinds of different stuff, you know.
The rumor has it, somebody told me you were going to drop to the welterweight division. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, well, I'm going to give it a shot, you know. I think because when I eat well and I'm in camp, I walk around 195. So, you know, I could make it to 170. But will I feel comfortable? Will I feel healthy and strong at that weight? We'll see. Mm-hmm. We'll see. You know?
And you're walking around 195, 200 right about now?
Right now, no. Right now I'm about 200, you know, around 200 pounds.
So, your last fight, you lost a decision, but you went up in weight class to take on an opponent that was way bigger than you.
Yeah.
Did that spark it? Is that part of why you're moving weight classes, or had you thought about dropping to welterweight before that?
Oh, I was on my way to drop to welterweight, but I could not find an opponent. So, you know, when you're not outside, not to bash any league, it's just that when you're not in the UFC, outside the UFC, a lot of guys are trying to protect their records and don't want to take risky fights, and I'm a risky fight, you know, and it's like promoters are telling me, you know, guys don't want to get cut by an elbow for $2,000, $3,000, you know. I mean, it's not worth it, and it's tough for me to get fights, but so I had to go up in weight, and I fought a very tough guy, you know, but I mean, I was out of my weight class. I mean, the guy was 225 at least in the cage, and you know, shredded, strong, and yeah, man, I lost the decision, and the weight was a huge factor. Not taking any credit away from the guy. I know myself. I know what I can do, and man, I fought a big guy, you know, and you know, we're talking about two weight classes because I went up to fight at 205, but I was still training hard and eating lean, so I was walking around 195, 194, you know, so I was on my way down to 170.
Yeah, well, there's a reason why they have weight classes, and you were on a 4-fight winning streak before that.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you train out of the TriStar gym, along with St-Pierre. What did you think about his decision to walk away from the sport when he did?
I mean, you don't know. Nobody knows what's going on inside George's head, so nobody could judge. So when he decided to retire or take a break, you know, I was okay with it, man. We talked a few times about it, you know, as friends, not as, you know, training partners, just as friends. And, you know, as a friend, you know, a real friend will tell you, you do whatever the hell you want, you know, whatever feels right, you do it, you know, don't care about what people will say. They will judge you no matter what. If you stay, they'll judge you. If you leave, they'll judge you. So do whatever feels right, you do it.
Now that George has stepped back, Rory McDonald, do you think he's going to be the next guy in the welterweight division, or do you think Johnny Hendricks is going to hold that title for a minute?
Man, Rory McDonald is a beast, man. He's training hard. He hasn't stopped training. He's on a roll. He found his groove now. I don't know if you saw Rory in his last few fights since he fought Lawler. I mean, his last two fights, I mean, he found his groove. He looks good in training and looks good in the cage, and you know, I can't predict the future, you know, but I know that he's doing the right things. He's training hard at TriStar Gym with Faraz Zahabi and everybody at the gym, you know, and he's looking great. He's focused, so I wish him all the best, and I think he's going to do great.
Now, it's been a while since you fought in the UFC. The organization and the sport itself has changed quite a bit. The women have come in and then taken over. What do you think about the current place of the UFC with the Fox deal and the women coming in? What do you think about that?
It is huge, man. It's crazy. I haven't fought in UFC in I don't know how many years, and you know, I just get stopped every 2 seconds for pictures and stuff like that, and it's crazy, man. The sport blew up. The women, they always bring it every time they fight. Every time there's a women's fight, you know, they bring it. And yeah, man, it changed. It just got huge. I mean, with the Fox deal and the Ultimate Fighter TV show, I mean, it's something special, man.
Now you're looking for your next fight. Do you want it to be in the welterweight division, or do you want to take another fight at middleweight while you're working your way down to 170?
No, I'm working my way down to 170, but I mean it's all about getting the right fight, finding an opponent that wants to make it happen.
Now,
that's what it's about.
The long-term goal. Are you wanting to get back to the big show, back to the UFC? Is that your long-term goal, or?
I mean, my long-term goal is to become. I just want to be. I want to become the best fighter possible, the best fighter I could be, and wherever that brings me, I'll go.
Yeah. What do you?
GSP versus Anderson Silva.
Oh.
So his thoughts on a super fight.
Okay.
And then the steroid thing.
Oh yeah, TRT. Yeah, well, since you've not been in the UFC, there's been the TRT. TRT has been banned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission.
Yeah.
The Fallout, Chael Sonnen has tested positive to 4 different drugs. Vanderlei Silva skipped out on a drug test. Vitor Belfort failed a drug test. What do you think? What was your take on athletes using TRT before the ban?
To be honest, I'll be honest. Because I always usually, step away from these questions. I'm like, they do whatever they want. It's TRT is cheating. TRT is cheating. Testosterone levels are too low. Go work at 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying? It's like this is what you got to do. You can't just start popping, doing steroids like that. Being 40 something and having the testosterone of a 20-year-old. To me, it doesn't make sense. To me, it's cheating. That's my opinion, man. I think it shouldn't be allowed, and the commission was right because now it's people were abusing it.
Yep.
People were abusing it, and that's how I feel. I'm 34 years old, and I don't have the testosterone that I had when I was 20, but I'm working my butt off, and that's how you got to earn it the right way, the hard way.
Now, we talked a little bit about George St-Pierre before.
Yep.
And only George knows the answer to this question, but in your opinion, knowing George the way you do you think he's going to come back to fighting eventually, or do you think that he is content walking away and leaving his legacy where it was, which he accomplished everything there is to accomplish, of course?
Man, he hasn't lost in I don't know how many years. I mean, he's the champ. I mean, I don't know. Like I said before, we don't know what's going on in George's head.
Yeah.
A fighter that achieved that level of greatness he's alone in his head. He's alone in his head, and he's unpredictable to people, to regular people. And whenever he feels hungry enough to step back in there, he will. Because George, one thing that brought George to the top, one thing that kept George at the top of the division, at the top of the sport, is his brain. This guy used his brain in the gym, during the fight in the cage. I mean, this guy is very, very smart, and every move he makes is calculated, inside and outside the octagon. So we'll see.
Now, when can you be ready to fight again? I mean, you say you're looking for another fight. I mean, would you take a fight in
tonight.
2 weeks? Tonight.
Ready tonight. I want to fight tonight. You got something tonight? Ready tonight.
Also, something that's happened recently, Anderson Silva, long-term middleweight champion, broke his leg in his fight with Chris Weidman. He's working his way to come back, and there's talks about possibly a fight between him and Nick Diaz. We talked about George. I myself think it would be the perfect timing now with George kind of walking away from the sport and been out for a while, second ACL surgery, Anderson's on the broken leg mend, for them to come back. I think now's the perfect time for that super fight to happen. Do you disagree with that or agree?
The thing with George, like I said, he's someone that's very, every move he makes is calculated. And to fight Anderson, he would have to put on weight, and that would be I think it would be a longer process for him to put on all that weight and get ready for Anderson. But I don't know. That's something that only George knows.
Yeah.
George will decide. George is the champ. He retired as the champ, and he's the one that makes the calls.
Okay. Now, I'm going to give you the opportunity to talk to your fans or a potential next opponent out there for you.
Man, my fans, thank you for all your support. I'm still here, still training hard, fighting hard. I'm making movies too, so check me out online. I got a few things going on, and yeah, man, thanks for the support.